best sports shows. Tune in for the biggest personalities on the biggest stories, and don't miss us on The Herd weekdays at 12 Eastern. Catch it all right here Monday through Friday on FS1.
Shopping for car insurance? Go to Geico. Been saving people money for 75 years. Geico.com. Geico.com. Real simple. They know how to save you money. Like Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh, has been holding a press conference today. In fact, hold on 1 second. Trying to get the very latest. Hold on. Just can fill space here for 10 seconds. Okay, so let me start with this. I just got a little update in Pittsburgh. Let's start with the Mike Tomlin soundbite. Mike Tomlin, he was asked if a star diva wide receiver like Antonio Brown is worth the hassle.
Does it reach a point where it becomes more problematic than it's useful?
Certainly.
Okay, bottom line. Can it reach a point where it's a bigger headache than it is worth all the hassle? And Mike Tomlin said, certainly. Here was James Harrison, who comes on our network, and Antonio Brown during Mike Tomlin's press conference. This was on Instagram moments ago.
Yo, so I'm sitting here with my boy. I'm about to go ahead. I'm going to get the exclusive. Y'all stay tuned. We listening to what we listening to right now.
Stay tuned. We about to do this big interview.
We going to drop the exclusive. I got it right here with my boy. Get ready.
Okay, I am hearing that doesn't go over well with the Steelers. My gut feeling this minute is that Antonio Brown will be moved. That's what I believe to be true. What my sources are telling me in Pittsburgh is that they've had just about enough. And going on Instagram, watching the presser, kind of laughing at the whole situation, laughing that you could have played and didn't. I do not think that goes over well.
Well, I don't think it's going to go, and obviously it's tough to speak for teammates, but if I had someone on my team as talented as Antonio Brown and as important as Antonio Brown.
Skip the game?
He didn't think he was skipping the game, but essentially thinking that you can throw a fit like that, not show up, not fulfill your responsibilities going into a game that important, and then essentially cost us the game and my chance at the playoffs or potentially the Super Bowl.
And then go on Instagram.
While the head coach is speaking.
Not good.
It doesn't have the best tone.
Yeah, it doesn't have the best tone. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Sticking with that, there is someone who's not putting the blame on Antonio Brown, at least right now, and that's Big Ben. He thinks that Le'Veon Bell's holdout is actually what held the Steelers back this season.
It hurts when you don't have one of the better players in the game, but I think the biggest thing that hurt us is just the distraction. I think on a positive note, I think what we got to see from James Conner and Jalen Samuel, I think we got to see some guys really kind of come into their own and get a glimpse of the future. So I was actually really encouraged with what we saw without Le'Veon there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame this season on the distraction. I'm actually not even going to blame this season on anything that happened this season, because I think this season is a reflection of all things that started before this season happened.
Have you noticed what Big Ben's doing, though? He's like, I love Le'Veon. I want to keep Antonio Brown. So if they do leave, Big Ben's protecting his brand here.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's like, hey, I think Le'Veon's great. I'd love to have him. Antonio's great, because you don't want to be seen as the guy
who
drove everybody off. So Big Ben's protecting his brand here.
I don't think anyone's going to look at Big Ben in this situation and say that it's Big Ben's fault. I mean, he's the one who has the rings, and he's the one who was there before both of them. So I don't think that this is Ben's fault. Ben is also just a product of whatever the system is there. Yeah. I mean, this entire culture is someone's responsibility. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, we constantly talk about how great the Steelers are as an organization, and I really believe that they are. Yeah. I just don't understand how it's gotten to this point. Yeah. And maybe it's because they have had so much success over their history that we kind of put them in the same category as the Patriots or some other organizations, the Packers or something that are generally quiet, but they're really not. And speaking of the Patriots and their system, Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels got cold feet on the Colts last year, and a lot of people thought that would be the last of his head coaching opportunities, but his name is back up in the conversation with all the 8 openings that have cleared for the end of the year. He is talked about today, a front runner for the Packers head coaching vacancy.
Oh, he is.
Oh, didn't Albert Breer say that?
You're right.
He thinks that's where he's going to end up. Wow. I really do not get that. I get it from his perspective of he has dealt with the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is reportedly tough to deal with, so it's not like he's going to be intimidated by Aaron Rodgers.
I think it would be, for our business, I think it would be a great fit. It would be great for us because it would be a great talking point. The brash young coordinator, the brash veteran legendary quarterback. I think that would be great media. It'd be great media. I don't know if it'd be great football, it'd be great media.
Well, yeah. I mean, selfishly, I kind of root for chaos for that reason. Good content. But I don't get the Josh McDaniels thing. Is that just me?
Well, I think he is smart. I think he's smart, but that doesn't mean you can be a head coach.
Right.
Now,
he was a head coach, and it didn't work.
Al Gore, good vice president. Never thought he'd be a good president.
I mean,
a lot of vice presidents that don't work.
I enjoyed the Tebow thing as much as anybody else who enjoys good content and ratings, but he was responsible for that.
Yeah.
Did not have a good run with the Broncos. And the Bill Belichick coaching tree is not great because we talked about it yesterday. He's not an open and sharing guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't give away his secrets.
Right.
And all of them. And Bill O'Brien is the only one of his assistant coaches that's gone on to head coaching record over 500.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but we'll see. Finally, there's been some talk in the last 24 hours about obviously where Antonio Brown is going to end up. The 49ers came up as a possibility, but there are now reports that they may actually be interested in Odell Beckham Jr. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk said if the Giants decide to move on from Odell, the 49ers could pursue him. The 49ers considered it the window last year when Beckham seemed to be available, and it's already buzzed this year that if he's available, the 49ers would be interested. Beckham's contract is very tradable. He has 5 years, $74 million remaining on his deal he signed last August. The Giants GM said this morning, we didn't sign him to trade him, but I actually think that they should trade him. They need a lot of pieces. While I like Odell in New York, I would like to see him with Jimmy G and the 49ers, and I think that he
again, that's good media.
It is good media, but it's also important for Odell. Not that the Giants care about what's best for Odell, but he needs to be with a quarterback who is established and good in his prime. So if they bring in a young quarterback, it's essentially like, unless he comes in and is just trailblazing, he's going to be with a developing quarterback for the next, 2 to 3 years? Yeah. We really want Odell in that situation?
I like to see star quarterbacks and star receivers.
Right. So I actually think the 49ers would be great for everyone.
All right, Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie
Let's
News.
bring in 8 NFL seasons, a Defensive Player of the Year, the all-time 39.5 sacks, 3 years in this league. The first 3, Shawne Merriman, former All-Pro linebacker, first-rounder, 3-time Pro Bowler. Okay, let's talk Antonio Brown. Did his large contract to you backfire on the Steelers?
Yeah. It's showing more now than ever. Just him being this whole thing with James Harrison. I don't get that. I don't know why you would, because you understand the problem that with him and Big Ben. I mean, everybody knew about that. But when you start doing things like what he's doing now, it's more poking at the organization now than it is Big Ben, and I think that's what the bigger problem is now.
Did you ever have a player who was? And listen, I never begrudge a player to make money. You guys play for about 8-9 years. Go make your money. But did you ever have a player, you can call him out or not, that you thought was more about the money than about the winning?
No, not really. But, that's the whole goal. You want to get paid. That's why you go out and perform. The problem is what happens is when you go out and do the things he's doing right now to Big Ben and what he's doing publicly to the organization. I'm not saying he did anything personally to Big Ben, but the problem is he's kind of he's poking a bear right now. He's poking a bear, and I don't care how great of a wide receiver you are. At some point, they're gonna move you, and you're gonna piss them off, and that's what he's doing now.
Yeah. What would you do with Odell Beckham?
But Odell's not the problem. I don't think Odell's the problem with the Giants. He should be on the team where he can go out and get somebody to throw him the football. That's the problem there.
Yeah.
So if he's moved, it's not a Odell Beckham problem. If Antonio Brown is moved, it's an Antonio Brown problem.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about this whole, I'm like, listen, I understand young coaches, blah, blah, blah. But Sean McVay has never won a playoff game. Sean Payton's won a lot of them. Mike McCarthy's won Super Bowls. I got nothing against these young coaches. When you're in a locker room, young coach, old coach, does it matter? Does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter now because we're seeing what Sean McVay and some of these other great young coaches are doing. Mike McCarthy's case, he might, talking about the Jets, I think he might be that better fit being with the Jets. I think he had more control over Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers was young.
Yes.
He got
and that's when they had their most success.
That's when they had the most success. They got a young Sam Darnold there that I think he'll have some success with. I don't think Mike McCarthy is old at all to be in the coaching.
Andy Reid's a number 1 seed in the East. He's 60.
Right.
We bum rushed him out of Philadelphia. Andy Reid rebuilt the Chiefs.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. So your thing is McCarthy was great when Aaron was young. As Aaron grew in stature, almost like a LeBron, Aaron's a little tougher to coach. Maybe McCarthy is, maybe I think he actually fits for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, no question. I think that'll be a great move. I don't know why the Jets wouldn't make that decision. Mike McCarthy had success when Aaron was listening, when he wasn't calling his own plays, when he wasn't changing the plays, and he didn't have as much control. You can have a lot of control over a younger player that you still trying to mold. And Sam Darnold is, he's that guy. He can be on that level with the right direction.
You're a former Charger great. I think the most captivating playoff game this weekend. Now, I think Russell Wilson, Dak is going to get the big ratings. But the Chargers will face Lamar Jackson again. Now, I don't know if it's sustainable. I know I've been told this. When you bring something new into the NFL, you got to give an off season for the coaches to dissect the film. Let's say you were a Charger and you were playing Lamar Jackson. First of all, do you like him, and how would you stop this thing?
I was at that game when they played him here, and I even underestimated him. Not just him as a quarterback, his speed and what he's able to do out there. He had one play where he kind of rolled out and he continued onto the sideline and he jumped over the bench on the sideline. He didn't break stride, and I was on the field seeing it for the first time. And a few weeks ago, I just had the talk with Mike Vick. I said, Mike, is this dude serious? Is he good? He said he's legit. And I said, I'm gonna go see for myself. I was at the game. He's legit, but he's still a rookie. I don't care who his speed or how great he is as a rookie. He's still a rookie, and things you can do against him. The thing is, going into this game, he can be very one-dimensional.
Yes.
If I'm playing him, I spy him from play one.
You just have a guy on him the whole game.
You have a guy. You can't put a D lineman on him because they're not fast enough. You have to keep a linebacker there to spy him and make sure he stays in the pocket. And as a pass rusher, you stay in your pass rush lanes. Period. You do that and you force him to throw the ball down the field, you have a great shot at winning the game.
Yeah, I think right now he's a very good quarterback in a tie game or a lead. I think if he trails late and I can drop 8 into coverage, and I always felt this with Tebow.
Yeah.
Tebow could play with a defense and a lead, but if you knew Tebow had to throw, he's not an elite thrower.
Right.
Now, this kid's better than Tebow. But I do think the key when you play Baltimore is get ahead, force Lamar to do things on your terms. Because when he's doing things on his terms, it's a weird offense, and you can't even duplicate that at practice.
And he has an arm. He had one shot where he threw the ball to the end zone. He's a rookie, and he's not accurate yet. So I would force him to be accurate. I think he will be, in a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. But right now, because of the sake of what's on the line, if he beats me by throwing deep balls down the field, he's accurate, I can almost live with that. I can't live going into this game. You lose, and you let him run the ball. The things he's great at. If you let him do that, then I couldn't deal with losing.
By the way, Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll have a reputation. Pro player, little looser. Players can talk. Belichick, a little more, conservative. Go back to your career. Did you like to be coached? Did you like a quiet locker room? Would you have been better with Belichick or Tomlin? Because it does look like the Steelers have sort of unraveled. Yeah. They had ping pong tables and pool tables and shuffleboard tables. And, give me your 8 years in the league. What worked for you in terms of disciplinary action and sort of tempo and personality by a coach?
Yeah, well, I played for 2 different style coach. I played for Marty Schottenheimer.
He is no bull.
He was no joke. He was very strict and, aggressive. We had hard practices, and he just didn't take anything from anybody. And, Norv Turner came in, and he was a little bit more
much a
laid back, which he's also, Marty Schottenheimer, defensive-minded coach, Norv Turner, offensive-minded coach. So the practices and the way we approach things were different.
By the way, the Marty system worked. The Norv system didn't. But did you like Norv initially because he was more chill?
No, I like Norv as a coach. But if the offense were doing well during practices, it was a great practice. If the defense was doing well, horrible. We got to start it over, or start the start. And that was just the mentality, and I also think that's the mentality that's going on there with Mike Tomlin. I think that it got so out of line. Now you have so many different personalities to check. You have so many different people because you didn't stop it over here with this one.
Well, who's the biggest personality you ever played with? Because LaDainian Tomlinson wasn't a personality.
No, Phillip probably said, but not in a bad way. But he was.
And who in Buffalo was the big guy?
We all played with Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, but he's not a big...
Stevie Johnson.
Oh no, they got...
Yeah. Stevie Johnson was probably the biggest personality guy we had,
and it didn't hurt the locker room.
No,
he's just big.
No, but you had 1 or 2 guys. You don't have 5.
Pittsburgh's got all sorts of noise.
Pittsburgh has 5.
Yeah, good seeing you, bud.
Good seeing you too.
Coming up, I'm handing out my regular season NFL awards, including one award I'm sure nobody wants to win. That's next. Best for last. It's the Herd.